This video is just going to show you a few techniques I've used in this track that I'm making to make the synth sounds kind of more interesting and work well together in the track. Just with a few simple techniques that you might want to try in your own productions. So just a quick playback of the track. It centers around this main riff here. And it ends up being like this. So it's, very energetic, quite old school, a little bit of acid vibes in there. And it's got several different types of synth. So what I wanted to do is kind of talk you through those and the techniques I've used to kind of make those synths a bit more interesting, like I said, and work in context with each other. So from the beginning of the track, the main synth part, which is what I've just played you, that's holding the whole thing together, and I haven't really processed that too much. That sound was recorded using my Korg Minilog, had a little bit of reverb on the signal going in, and I've just sent a touch of that to a room reverb, which is hard pan to the right, so it's just giving a little tiny bit of ambience spread on the right. So we're not going to be focusing on that because really that's the main synth in the track, and I wanted that to be quite dry and kind of unprocessed. So what I'm going to be looking at is the other sounds in the track and how they relate to that and how they add different elements. So the next sound that we're going to look at is this, I haven't actually given it a name. I should probably give these things a name, but I'm going to call it drone. Here we go, Control R. So again, this was a Minilog part on the Korg Minilog. So this is just how it sounded going in. You can hear the side chain ducking going on, and that's on the group here. So all of the synths have got the same side chain to a kick trigger. It's a fairly subtle, long form melodic part, which actually helps provide some impact on this section of the track. So as the song builds, this sound has a filter. And it's quite subtle, but what it does is it helps that build happen. So to make that sound a bit more interesting and have a bit more movement, I've started off by using a filter, and this has got some automation on it. So if I look at the filter frequency during this first part of the track, it's got some filtering, and again that's because there's a build here, and if you listen to this, that's the filter opening up. That was played in with the Minilog, and I think there's actually got a little bit of chorus on the sound going in. Next up, I put a cassette plug in. This is by Waves Factory. I really love it. It's actually a good way of adding some subtle saturation, a little bit of noise, not a great deal, but some kind of like static noise and some movement, because obviously tapes inherently are a little bit unstable. And this plugin, you've got all sorts of settings you can use. So stability is about 47%. The spread is wide, 100%, and the erasures, which makes the tape a little bit older and crustier. The input's being driven a bit, the output's being pulled down to compensate, and then I use this preset called Warm Pad, and then I tweaked it a little bit. That's without it. That's with it. It's really giving it some edge. It's making it a bit kind of dirty and weird. Much more stereo. Just more interesting, adds a bit more, feels a little bit more sort of dark and scary, especially on this bit here. As that filter opens up. And I think it gives a bit more life to it. It makes it not just feel like it's a bit flat. It gives it a bit more of a 3D vibe, and it's got some movement to it. And then in the main build up here, you can hear it really start to saturate. As that input is getting pushed on the tape preamp starts to distort. that did actually introduce a little bit low end, and I've controlled the low end here with an EQ, pulling out from around something around 225 hertz on a kind of slope there. So we're losing all of the extra low end from that. Oh, that's the drone sound.